All three of us are excited about the new Nokia Windows Phone. Two of us are proud new owners of the device, and one of us has been so wrapped up in it that he needs to be filled in on the week's Android news. All that, plus the overdue return of one of our resident Windows Phone experts, ahead in the next hour on episode 054 of the Pocketnow Weekly, the once-a-week podcast from Pocketnow where we discuss smartphones, tablets, and the state of mobile technology in 2013. I'm your host, Michael Fisher, editorial director at Pocketnow, and today I'm joined by Best Buy's best customer, senior editor Taylor Martin. Good morning to you, you consumer whore.
Hello, and I have been to Best Buy entirely too many times in the past 3 days.
And by the man with plenty of time and no devices to fill it with, contributing editor Adam Dowd. Good afternoon to you over there in Middle America.
Good afternoon to you, and I have been to way too many AT&T stores this morning.
Yeah, Adam's got a tale of woe to share with us, and Taylor has a tale of too much success so we've had endless delays here. We have, what's up on the site this morning that's brand new? We have the HTC 8XT, which landed on my doorstep just minutes before the podcast was supposed to start, so I had to unbox that. We have a new Nexus 7 from Taylor Martin, is that right?
Yes.
And
it is right here in my hands right now.
Yes.
And it is beautiful.
And we have a 1020 review that is being cooked up. I think Adam Lane posted a Nokia Lumia 521 unboxing from the Home Shopping Network, if I'm not mistaken.
That's outstanding.
I need to ask about that. I don't know what it is. So we're listeners. I need to warn you. I'm sorry. We are going to skip listener mail again. So if you're listening just to hear your listener mail, I don't want to be a tool and drag this out so that you're just going to be disappointed at the end. We have no time. We actually have no. Why you read my mail? We got no time. And while that's always true, and we always say that every week, it is so true now because it's a Friday. I have to do something. I have to become an actor at 6 p.m., so I have a lot of work to do. Taylor has a lot of work to do. Adam just has a lot of tweeting at us and wondering why he doesn't have any devices. Adam, I'm so sorry, man. This imbalance has got to stop.
That's what I've been saying for months now.
I know. It's tricky. It is a tricky thing because Taylor and I are both underwater, and poor Adam is just what do you call that in baseball? What are you on the bench?
I am on the bench. I'm in the tunnel with the bat, just waiting for that closer.
You're in the batting cage.
I'm in the batting cage.
Well, this is predominantly a Nokia Lumia 1020 podcast, and it's going to be titled as such and sold, packaged up and sold to our listeners as such. So let's go ahead and get the Android stuff out of the way real quick. Can we? Taylor, can I ask you for your brief roundup on the new Nexus 7? How's it feel in your hand? What's it like? And what was your buying experience like?
Well, the buying experience, I want to start with that because I walked into Best Buy and I have a lot of friends that work at Best Buy because I used to work at Best Buy Mobile and all those people have branched out.
Can you turn your gain down a little, Taylor? Sorry.
Yeah, I can.
Thanks, buddy.
I'm used to standing 5 feet from my mic, so
yeah.
Is that better?
A little more.
How's that?
I don't think it's changing at all. So you have a lot of friends at Best Buy.
How about that?
Yeah, that's better.
Good.
Nice.
So, I used to work at Best Buy, and I got a lot of friends, and those who haven't quit Best Buy are working in different stores. They're managers and all kinds of stuff now. So when I need something, I go to Best Buy. They price match, and they're awesome to me.
It's great. And, it's good to have friends in retail places.
Yes, it is. And I walked into Best Buy today, and I said, I'm here to get a Nexus 7. And the guy looked at me, and he said, we don't carry the Nexus 7. And I'm like, it's all over everywhere.
That guy didn't read his daily retail newsletter.
Yeah, he's supposed to. It's called RSS, and he's supposed to read it. It's the employee news.
And at Sprint. At Sprint, we had one too. I forgot the name of it though. Go ahead.
And he's like, we don't carry the Nexus 7. I said, it launched today. You have them. It's right here on the app. You have them in stock. And he's like, no, I don't. And he did use a little language. But he looked at me. Yeah. Well, he looked it up in the system. He used a little language. He's like, oh, but yeah, he told me, oh, man, we have 58 in stock. And I said, yeah, I thought so. And he's like, I'll have to go look where they are. I said, look for the large pile of tablets. And he went off and he's like, yeah, they were right in front of my face when I went to the warehouse. I said, yeah, they were. But
Nice.
other than that, it was great. I walked out in 10 minutes with the Nexus 7.
And did you also get your 1020 there, or did you get that somewhere else?
No, they didn't have the 1020. They were going to price match for me, which is $90 off their price of the no contract Lumia 1020.
You gotta be kidding me! I didn't know that.
Yeah, their Lumia 1020 retail price is $750 and AT&T's is $659, and they were gonna price match for me. They don't do that, but because I know the manager, they were going to.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that's right. You were talking about this. The Microsoft store had it at $650. So.
Yeah. And as a plus, if you get your Nexus 7, I don't know what kind of promotion this is, but I walked out with a mini LCD cleaner and cloth for free. Yeah, it's a $5 value, guys.
Whoa, you got a chamois? Guys, stop the presses. Throw out the rundown. We're talking chamois for the rest of the day.
It comes with an antibacterial spray, too, so that's a deal.
Ew.
That is I have it on good authority, though, that you need to know a guy to get that.
That's what I hear. Yeah. So, all right. So let's just wrap it up on the Nexus 7. You've unboxed it, Taylor. I haven't watched your unboxing. Adam, you were doing nothing but drinking bourbon before the unboxing went up. Did you watch it?
I did not watch the unboxing. I watched the Google presentation, but,
I wasn't drinking bourbon. He switches at 12. He's got 15 minutes.
12 local time. Yeah, I'm sorry. So then, considering no one on the show has watched the unboxing yet because it is literally that hot off of the YouTube press.
It went up 4 minutes ago.
Yeah. Tell me things, Taylor. Tell us in 1 minute your brief impressions on the new Nexus 7.
It feels phenomenal in the hand. It's small. One of the things I liked about the original Nexus 7 was how narrow it was. Mm-hmm. It was tall and narrow. And this one is the same height. Yeah, this one's the same height, but much narrower. It's easier to hold in one hand, which means it's probably going to fit in my pocket because the original Nexus 7 would fit in my back pocket. This one's narrower. It's a 1.8 millimeters thinner, and I haven't played with the speakers or anything. I turned it on, and the display is better. It is much, much, much better, but it's still a little pale. It's a little on the light side, I guess you could say.
I see. So it's a I don't even know the specs. So when the Google event happened, Adam, that you were talking about a second ago, you guys might remember I joined for like 4 minutes as I was walking down the sidewalk to take photos with the Lumia 1020 because I have had no time away from the Lumia 1020 for a week. So I'm not even that familiar with what was announced beyond the vagaries of a few things. So it's I don't know the specs on that panel. It's an LCD still, obviously.
It's an LCD. It's 7 inches at 1920 by 1200. So that's 323 pixels per inch.
Okay, right.
So clarity is definitely there. It's noticeably more crisp. You don't see pixels, but like the greens aren't popping. The reds are a little pink.
I hate that.
But I would much rather have that and a display that is crisp and just sharp than a panel that's really sharp, a panel that's not sharp and has great color reproduction, great contrast. I would rather have the clarity.
I don't know if I'm in that same boat because I'm a saturation whore. Adam, what are your thoughts on that?
I believe when Google announced it, they said it was the highest resolution of any tablet on the market today. So that's pretty sexy. But yeah, I'm kind of a color reproduction guy myself. If I don't want my red to be pink. I want it to be red.
Yeah. That is a false statement though, because the Nexus 10 has the highest resolution.
I was going to say the Nexus 10 is
Nexus 10 is 25. Yeah, Nexus 10 is 2560 by 1600, so it's double this resolution, I believe.
Maybe they meant on a 7-inch.
On a 7-inch.
Yeah.
All right, that's cool.
I do like it though, and when the LTE model comes out, that'll be my tablet. That'll be my go-to daily tablet.
Are you going to review this one for us?
I suppose. I don't know. I think so. I think they wanted me to do it because I have so many small tablets. I have the original Nexus 7, the iPad Mini, and the Galaxy Note 8.0.
Oh, so you're going to have a week like I had, comparing it against everything under the sun. It's a little Pocketnow Insider moment for y'all. Obviously, we get our schedule at the beginning of the week, so that's why we don't know who's reviewing this thing, because it's Friday. And you know what's funny? Because things aren't supposed to happen on Fridays too typically. I mean, Fridays are usually a slow day. The week kind of gets less busy as it goes on. But man, that has not been the case for the past few weeks. It has been getting busier and busier toward the end of the week. So very exciting stuff. It's good, but I would like to move on to Windows Phone, as I'm sure both of you would. I understand that Adam went on a little bit of a chase for an untamed ornithoid this morning. Did you have like a problem?
Wow!
Brother?
Did you just have a data moment there?
Yes. I can't remember the episode. I think it's Data's Day, but yes. Thank you, Star Trek: The Next Generation, for my lame jokes.
Yeah, I had an epic fail of a morning. I woke up this morning and I decided, Michael and Taylor are having their Lumia 1020 moment. I want to have a 1020 moment, even though I'm not actually getting a 1020. So the kids were awake. My wife was still dead asleep. So I hooked them up with their tablets and said, I'll be back. And so I went out and I went to the local AT&T store a couple miles away, and I pulled into the parking lot, and I just wanted to get a feel of, who's waiting, is there a line? Is anybody waiting in line? What's the demand been like?
Yeah, totally.
So I get out of the car, go up to the door. They don't open for another hour. Oh, okay. Well, the podcast is supposed to start in an hour, so that's not going to work. We'll get to that in a minute.
If only you'd known. Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, well, there's an AT&T corporate store, just a couple of miles away. So I'll go over there. If anyone's going to be getting a Lumia, it's going to be from the AT&T corporate store, right? So I drive over there and I pull into the parking lot, and there's big metal gates down in front of a door, and they're not open till 10 o'clock. And I was like, seriously? Come on, man. I'm trying to work on something. I'm trying to do some homework here. I'm actually trying to prepare for a podcast for the first, like I do every time. So I just hung my head in shame and went home and said, I'll just call them later or something.
What I find puzzling about this is Adam Dowd, contributor to one of the world's leading mobile technology sites, refused or omitted to check the hours of the establishments he was going to visit using the internet beforehand. I don't even 2 o'clock in the morning, mentally exhausted me, yelped the stores I was going to last night.
Good for you.
You just decided to go exploring? No,
I just decided to go. Well, originally it was going to be a bike ride. I was going to grab my kids. We were going to go out riding our bikes and stuff like that. But the problem was it's raining. So
it's raining here too in Boston. Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't work well with bikes. So I just said, let's go. It's not a big deal. And it's just, I could have checked the hours. And the thing is, I use Windows Phone. And Bing Maps suck at hours, and actually they kind of suck at locations too. I can't tell you how many times.
Nokia Maps? I'm sorry, you don't use Here Maps?
Oh, I don't know. I use whatever comes up when you do the search button. So I guess that's Bing.
But yeah.
I have pulled up in front of so many empty lots, looking for a store or looking for something, a restaurant or something, and it's just their windows are boarded up. You can tell. The ghosts have even moved out because that's been abandoned for so long. Yet Bing still shows that they're open from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m.
Actually, you know what's fun? I just did a search for Microsoft Store in Nokia Here Maps on my Lumia 1020, and the first result it gives me is not for the Microsoft Store, which is down the road, but it is for the Microsoft corporate location, one of their locations next to MIT. And then there's another one off Summer Street in Boston. In Bloomington, USA, there's one in Waltham, Massachusetts. I have a list of all of the Microsoft R&D offices in the area, but searching for Microsoft Store does not get me the Microsoft Store. It's actually not even on the list, guys.
So for those of you who have ever heard me complaining about Bing Maps and why Google Maps is so much better, that is why.
That's why. Yeah, and it continues. It continues to flummox me. But let's not crap all over Maps. Let's talk about this awesome device. Taylor and I both got them this morning. Now, Taylor, did you buy yours at full price?
I did.
Oh man, me too, dude. It was rough. So at full price in the state of
weathered.
And in the state of Massachusetts, full price after tax is about $740.
Ouch.
Yeah. What was in North Carolina?
Mine was just over 7.
Yeah, it's. I knew what I was getting into.
Or something.
But it's still really when they ring you up, it's painful, man.
Your tax really high. What's the tax rate in Massachusetts?
I don't know. That gets into numbers, and that's not my department.
I don't know.
I was told there would be no math.
7.5.
Thanks, Obama. But anyway.
Wow, you went there.
I'm the math guy. I'm the math guy. There's
are
always
the
going
math
to be
guy.
math.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I am not, and I just didn't want to spend all that money. But I knew that I wanted this phone badly. And at the Microsoft Store, and I don't know if this is what they're supposed to do, because I had read that you only get this with a 2-year contract. But they also give you the Nokia camera grip for free when you buy
What?
the Lumia 1020. Yeah, so I have a camera grip as well.
I don't, and they don't have Microsoft stores here.
That sucks.
Jerk.
Yeah.
Send it to me. I'll buy it from you.
No.
You said it was stupid and you didn't like it.
I didn't say it was stupid.
You did.
I might have
You
said it
did.
was stupid. Listen,
You said it was stupid and ugly.
Right. Okay. All right. But here, my first point, my first valid point of the show, maybe. I was out taking sample photos for the review, and my battery totally died. And I thought, man, wouldn't it be great if I had that stupid camera grip right now with its
You just called it stupid again.
It is stupid, but I think it's stupid because I would never pay like $70 for it or whatever. What are they
50.
asking for? It's 50. Yeah,
50 or 60.
I probably wouldn't pay $50 or $60 for it because I have a feeling it's going to feel real dumb when I slap it on there. But
Well, then you can send it to me.
I'm not going to do that. I'm not because
you're a
I
jerk.
like the battery a whole lot. But listen, they didn't have any yellow. I got it in black, so now
That's
my
what I
phone's
wanted.
even more of a bumblebee. Yeah. So did you?
Well, I'm gonna find a
by the
yellow
way,
one.
I got the yellow one. Did you get the black one?
No, I got the yellow phone.
Well, you got the yellow phone.
I got the yellow. I
Adam,
took your advice.
join me in a round of applause for Taylor Martin's bravery.
I got yellow.
That's
In
lovely.
person, the yellow looks a lot better than the black, which
Isn't
was
it
not the
amazing?
case.
Dude, so I picked up the black. I was at the Microsoft store and I picked up the black one and I'm like, wow, this is the one Taylor's getting. This is so dull. And I was so excited to ask for the yellow and get it. Wow.
You know what?
Good for
You know what? Yellow though. You guys tote that around for a while. You're gonna get some looks.
You know what? That's fine. That's fine. I'm used to getting looks. I
drive
like
an orange sports car. I don't care about
Yeah.
looks.
Have you seen my hair, Adam Dowd? I get looks. It's all right. No, but you know what I'm worried about? I was drinking from some water bottles yesterday that were marked with a marker because we all mark our water bottles so we don't get them confused. And I suddenly got all this ink all over my hand from this crappy marker. And I realized that, oh man, despite all that stuff about the coating on the polycarbonate it's going to get stained, right? Like it's going to get the Lumia 1020 is going to get some stainage happening.
It might. How does this Pro Camera app work? I'm trying to work that right now.
That'll be character though. So
Yeah, but I don't like character on my phone. So it's like shattering the screen just to be like hard, you know.
How do I get the settings to pop up?
What, in the Pro Camera app?
Yeah.
You drag you press and hold on the shutter button and you drag it to the left and then it expands all the manual settings for the
Okay.
yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, and then but see the thing is in the Pro Camera app they're all labeled with symbols. So it's taken me like 2 days just to even figure out the symbols. Like exposure took me a while or shutter speed. I keep conflating those two. Anyway,
is there
the one that
not
looks
a
like the
tutorial?
iOS?
What's that, Adam?
Is there not a tutorial?
There are this thing. So the 1020 is loaded with tutorials. It was my favorite thing to discover when I first powered on the camera. When you fire up Pro Camera, and Taylor has a feeling on this that's different from mine, it dumps you into a tutorial. And normally I hate that, but A, the tutorial's pretty, and B, you can skip out of it if you want to. But it teaches you very quickly and very easily how to use the ProCam app, and I think that's pretty awesome. But Taylor,
I didn't even realize it.
You didn't take it.
I didn't even
did you just
see
hit
it.
skip?
I skip through things so quickly. I don't really realize they're there.
Yeah. Nice work.
So the button that looks like the iOS home button is the manual focus.
Yeah. So listeners, if you do not have a 1020 and you're not following along because you didn't want to drop $700 for no reason, there's a bunch of symbols along the top of the ProCam app, and they're all. They all have words beneath them indicating their particular values. So that one is focus, the one that looks like an iPhone home button. You are right, and you can. That's one of my favorite features about this phone because you can manually adjust focus, which you can't do on almost any other smartphone that I've ever handled.
Oh my dear God!
Are you doing it?
Yeah, this picture is awesome.
Yeah.
What?
So,
oh my God.
I should say while we're talking about this, so the video review is up. It was posted last night at very early this morning, and the written review will be going up by the end of today, God willing. But the HD samples will be up in our full review. So the 1020, while we're talking about the camera, it shoots 2 photos every time you pull the trigger. It shoots a 34 megapixel RAW file if you're cropping it to 16 by 9 like I am. And it also generates a 5 megapixel image, and that's the one you share, and that's the one that has the oversampling, which, as I understand it, uses up to the information from up to 7 surrounding pixels to make up every pixel. So even the 5 megapixel shots, you zoom in on those. And my favorite one is the one of the beaded condensation on my Dunkin' Donuts iced coffee, where it just, you can see it. It looks like this, if you zoom in, it looks like this texture of cobblestones, and they're all just perfect. And it's a wonderful, wonderful photo. And not because of me, not because I'm a genius, but because this camera is amazing.
If you can give me a decent Twitter app, I'm going to tweet the picture that I just took.
Just do the stock Twitter app.
Yeah.
I hate stock Twitter apps.
What is this, 2011? The stock Twitter app is what you do now. Like, this isn't, we ain't using Rowie no more. We ain't using Carbon.
There's one called Rowie that
Rowie
I think they have a free version or a paid version. So
yeah. By the way, Rowie and Carbon are both awesome. I'm not saying they're crap. I'm just like, what? Use the stock
I looked
one.
for Carbon. I couldn't find Carbon.
Well, I think Carbon is abandonware.
Do third-party Twitter apps still not show you things like favorites and retweets?
I
don't know.
use the stock one.
Yeah, because that was the thing. That's why I had to leave the third-party ones, because not enough of them. I don't know if it's an API thing or what, but not enough of them showed me that stuff. And I was like, I want to know who favorites me, yo. Anyway,
yeah, right.
Shoot. So yeah. So what else about the 1020 here? I was kind of surprised by the total lack of ceremony. Going back to what you were talking about, Adam.
Dude, there was no one at the store.
There was no one?
No one. I was the first person in there.
And you were at an AT&T store, Taylor?
Mm-hmm, corporate store.
So tell me about that. Tell me about did the employees seem informed? Were they wearing fancy shirts? Were there 1020 demo units out on the floor? What was the sitch?
There were 1020 demo units out. They were in a far corner. Nobody was really adamant about it. All the reps had 920s.
Really?
I walked in and I said I want the 1020, and she's like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Yes."
Are you sure?
Are you sure? Fantastic.
Here.
Nokia, are you listening?
Yeah. I was just gonna say, Adam, I feel like this feels a whole lot like 2009 with the Palm 3 Plus at Verizon, right?
God, are you sure?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I don't know. I was just like, she's like, "Are you going to upgrade?" I said, "No." And she's like, "Are you a new customer?" I said, "No." And she's like, "So what do you want to do?" I said, "I want to buy it without a contract. I want to buy it at retail value." And she's like, "Why?" I said, "Because I'm not eligible for an upgrade, and I'd like this phone, and I don't want to do your AT&T Next program because it's a ripoff." And she's like, "So you're an existing customer?" Yes.
It sounds like she was born to do this job. I think she's exactly where she belongs.
I think I overwhelmed her because I knew what I was talking about.
Actually, that's probably true. We're being unfair. And this is probably 9 or 10 in the morning. I was never awake at that hour in my Sprint days. Okay, well, there's that. So there was no fanfare. There was no line. For what it's worth, that was my experience at the Microsoft store too. There were certainly place was not overrun with people buying the 1020. It was strange because last night. Because last year at the AT&T store for the 920, there was a line. There was it wasn't big. The line across the hall for the iPad Mini was about 60 people long, and people waiting for the 920 numbered about 8. But at least there was still a line outside. But I don't know.
I wonder about this whole line thing. I mean, aren't we enough in a digital age where we're just ordering stuff online and getting it brought to our house by FedEx? I mean, is it 2010 still that we're still going and getting in line waiting for phones to be released? I don't know. Is it just me?
No, that's a solid point. It's not just you, and I shouldn't be using, and I'm not actually using lines to determine the demand for a product. Obviously, it's sales numbers and stuff, but. Well, somebody asked me on Twitter a variation on the same question. They were like, "What? You're going to a store? Why aren't you just ordering online?" And I was like, yeah, but here's the thing: stuff comes to my office door every single day from UPS or FedEx. So now the novelty for me is going and doing the retail experience, and I like to have that special experience even if it's not that special, even if it's just some Microsoft employee who's as bleary-eyed as I am. Trying to check me out and running into an error every 2 minutes. At least that's new. At least it's an expedition. I've gone out into the world and done that. And I think there's still something to be said for that.
And it gives us something to talk about on the podcast too. So
that's exactly
there's
right.
that.
That's exactly right. But it's funny because this 1020, the sort of lens I'm using for the review, if you will pardon the pun, is that this phone makes you want to be a better photographer, because that's exactly what it does.
Well, not if you share your pictures to Twitter using the stock Twitter app, because those look like garbage.
No, they don't. They look great.
I just shared one.
Well, maybe
and this picture.
Maybe
this picture
it's because your photo. Maybe it's because your photo is garbage. Maybe it's your face. Sorry,
no, this looks absolutely terrible. Look at it. It's on Twitter right now.
I'm going to look at my own picture. I'm looking at my own feed. And I'm going to look at my own picture. See how that goes.
That actually does kind of look crappy.
All right.
It looks awful.
So Taylor Martin at Casper Tech at Twitter has just tweeted something.
So
1020. Okay. Oh wow, yeah, that looks awful.
What did you do?
Jeez. Maybe you should just give up, Taylor.
This is like that scene in Black Sheep where what's his name, David Spade, opens the door and it falls off, and Chris Farley looks at him and says, "What did you do?"
Yeah. So I think, Taylor, are you showing that much noise in the dark zones on the phone, or is that
not at all?
Okay, so that's what Twitter is doing.
So it's like YouTube, Twitter's compression.
Yeah, and YouTube did this to me the other day when I uploaded one of the sample footage blocks of video from the 1020. Some kind of crazy stuff happened with the compression, and it looked even worse than YouTube's usual compression. So the whole comment thread on that video sample was full of like, "Why does this look like crap?" and "Upload to Vimeo." I'm like, guys, we can't. We might do that.
All right. So we're gonna try this on using SkyDrive now. So maybe it'll look better.
Well, that's what I did.
Well, I'm fairly new to Windows Phone again.
Actually, yeah. Welcome back, Taylor. That's
thank you.
Cool. Yeah.
Thank you for not calling me an idiot again.
Nah, bruh.
What'd you do?
Consider the red carpet at your feet there, sir. We have rolled it up for you.
Yeah. So, Taylor, as in that vein, as someone relatively new to the new Windows Phone experience, I know you've got review devices and whatever, but this is you just try, like. Now, be honest with this, Taylor. On the airwaves of the internet today, tell us. Now, did you drop your own money on this?
I did.
Is this your very own hard-earned American dollars?
Yep, I've been waiting for it, and I knew as soon as it had a 41 megapixel camera, the PureView camera, I was going to buy it.
Yeah,
I knew it. There was no question. I just shared it again, and it looks a million times better.
See,
it looks better. Yeah,
one reason to use SkyDrive.
I think there's still some pixelation there, though. I have to put on my glasses, but I don't know. There's still something going on there. There's still some kind of compression.
Well, there's so much spit on my screen, I can't tell. But
yeah, well, there is that.
There is something going on there, but it still looks a million times
better. Oh yeah, it's definitely a whole ton better. So all you listeners, go to the second one,
Casper Tech.
All right,
yeah.
Right.
And I've uploaded I've been uploading pictures nonstop since the other day. One of my favorite things to use, and this is not terribly new, and I'm going to get back to your newness, Taylor, in a second, but one of my favorite things to use is the Nokia SmartCam app. This bothers me a little bit because, so when you unbox the 1020, for all you guys who haven't done it yet, when you go to fire up the camera using the shutter key, it does the right thing. It launches you into Nokia ProCam, and you have the new camera experience, and it's great. But the phone also includes shortcuts to two other camera apps. One is Nokia SmartCam, and that's what gives you the option to do all that motion blurring and color isolation and that
best face,
fun stuff. Yeah, exactly. Best face and photobomb eraser and all that. And it's funny. It's like Nokia's take on Samsung's suite of awesome stuff from the Galaxy S4. So that's great. It's great to have that. But there's also the Windows Phone, the stock camera app, sitting there for no reason, waiting for you to tap on it by accident. It's almost as because there's no reason to use it. It is I hate now the Windows Phone camera app.
In a word, unpin.
Yeah, unpin, exactly. Unpin that from the start screen. But the thing is, it never should have been loaded onto the start screen out of the box. Right. I think that they should have shipped this phone with that app disabled. Now, I'm sure I'm being short-sighted. I'm sure there's a reason that they left it on there that I just don't know yet. But from my point of view, all it's going to do is confuse consumers who are not going to know which camera to go to And
yeah, they're gonna tap on that, and they're gonna be like, "Wow, these pictures are horrible. How do I can't just focus on this? What's going on?"
Exactly. And even if they eventually figure it out, that's not a great experience to like jump into the phone with. So I really wish that Nokia and Microsoft had come to an agreement to just disable the stock camera app on this. And you can enable it if you want to, if for whatever reason you wanted to. I guess the principal advantage is that it launches a little faster. But you still have to wait for the camera's hardware to engage on the 1020, which still takes a beat or two. So, I don't know.
I'm okay with that.
What?
With it taking a while to take pictures, to load.
Yeah,
I'm okay.
I'm okay with it too because the benefit you get from it is just stunning. Like if the pictures it took were not that great, then it would be one thing. But yeah, we can all live with this.
I don't think I didn't take that at full resolution either. Somebody's asking for the full resolution picture, but
Somebody's
I don't
asking
think
you to share a 34 megapixel file.
Yeah.
Did you tell them it's going to be 10 megabytes? Because that's what it's going to be.
I'm cool with that, but let's see. I don't think I have the right settings on here.
Well, you cannot share full resolution pictures from the 1020 wirelessly, as far as I know. You have to do it through the Windows Phone software, I believe.
Makes no sense.
It may be so, but I believe now. The commenters, this is one of the few times I will be very happy to be proven wrong, because I just snapped. So when you snap a full resolution photo, you can tap up in the gallery in the upper left to get into the gallery, or you can tap on a quick shortcut to the full version, so that you can crop the full 34 megapixel version or 38, whatever you're shooting at. So I've just done that. I'm in that view where I can crop and do whatever. I can hit share. And when I hit share, let's see, I'll just do Google Mail, attaching file. No, and it attaches the Pro version. It attaches the 5 megapixel
How do you know
version.
the difference?
So
well,
the
I know
files
in
are
that,
named.
but...
Yeah, the files are named Pro or what are they? What's the other thing?
Okay, so the preview picture on your viewfinder in the Pro Camera app is the smaller picture, right?
Yeah, there's two side by side. There's the preview picture, which jumps you into the full resolution version, and then the one next to it, the shortcut jumps you into the gallery. So
okay.
It sounds a little more confusing than it is. Smart.
That's good because it sounds really confusing.
Yeah, I know. So, and when you're looking for your edification, when you are copying these images to your computer, listeners, you are given file names that actually make a bit of sense. It says Windows Phone and then the date, like always, but then it gives you an addendum that says either Pro or there's another one. And what is it called?
This one says Pro.
The full res versions. Well, how big is the file?
It doesn't say.
Yeah,
I'm going to send it to myself.
Send it to yourself because the Pro ones are the 5 megapixel ones, and they are around 1.5 megs a piece. That varies depending on the thing. So anyway, that's a whole bunch of specs. That's a whole bunch of spec talk. Taylor's learning his new phone, all this kind of stuff. But
Yay!
Yeah, I don't know, Adam. What phone are you rocking right now?
I got the 920.
You've got the 920. So we're all doing the Nokia Windows Phone thing. We've all got a little skin in the game as far as money invested and stuff.
Indeed.
And even though we're on the other side now of most of the heavy Lumia 1020 coverage, and the review is about to go live, I still I have a mental divide between what I want to be the truth about what this means for the platform and what I think I know to be the truth.
What I said.
So Taylor, that's what I'm saying, because I'm tired of talking for a second. I want Taylor to speak to that and to let us know after about an hour holding the device for yourself what your feelings are on the 1020 as it relates to Windows Phone and Nokia and their future.
It shows that that actually Nokia has put a lot of effort into Windows Phone. Not just the efforts they were putting in before, but a whole new level of innovation. And it makes you wonder, was PureView designed for Windows Phone? They just used Symbian to launch it. But aside from that, I don't really think this device, I already said it in an editorial, this device alone is not going to really launch Windows Phone ahead. Not ahead of anybody else, but in terms of market share, it's not really going to do a whole lot. Windows Phone itself has been growing more and more quickly. Their year-over-year growth is somewhere like 200 or 300%. but they're still only at 3 or so % worldwide of the global market share. 3, 4, somewhere in there. It was like 5% in the U.S. or something. Right. But it's not going to launch them forward. They're not going to just boom overnight or in the next six months hit 20%.
No, of course not.
Or even double digits. They're not going to do that. This phone is the Galaxy S2 to the Galaxy S3. That's the way I feel. Because the Lumia 900 really didn't do anything. The 920 didn't really do a whole lot, but it's a good phone. And then the 1020 would be the Galaxy S2 to the Galaxy S1 being the Lumia 920. Or I'm confusing myself.
Sure. But the Galaxy S2 did a lot interesting in the Android space, but it didn't, as I recall, besides processors and other nerdy type specs, there wasn't one standout feature that really leapt out to consumers and said, hey, you should buy this. Whereas I feel like the 1020 has that and that only. It's like, here's this big-ass camera.
Well, the Galaxy S2 had Android, which, if you think about it, that was kind of the blossoming thing at the time. It wasn't huge.
Yeah, but
it was still trying to
catch
up.
S1, though. You know?
Yeah, but at the time, the Galaxy S1 was more of a... Android was really just kind of coming off the assembly line or whatever. It really hadn't gained much at that time.
It was begging for a superstar to carry it. Yeah.
Yeah. The way this thing sits on a table just makes me laugh.
The 1020. Yeah. So when I was doing the wobble comparison between I think it was the 920 or it was the HTC One and this thing. Yeah, they both just wobble all over the place.
It's hilarious because it looks like you set it down on like change,
like a pebble or something. Or you put it on your keys. Yeah. But so, Adam, your thoughts? I mean, we know what Taylor's opinion is. Is the 1020 going to be the thing to propel Nokia and Windows Phone to new heights?
You know, Windows Phone has kind of a bad reputation in this, so I hesitate to use this term. But the 1020 to me kind of feels like a beta test. It kind of feels like let's put out this phone with this epic camera, and if a 41 megapixel camera isn't going to bring the masses, then this almost seems like it's kind of an experiment to see if a 41 megapixel camera is enough to really drive a phone or a platform or what have you. So I don't know. To me, it just feels like they're just kind of seeing what happens, and the next flagship, whatever it may be, they may go back to a more traditional 920 type thing with just the optical image stabilization. Maybe not do the 41 megapixel sensor, but go back down to the an 8 megapixel or 10 megapixel or whatever. I don't know. I just for me, that's just kind of what it feels like. And I can't explain it. I have absolutely no factual basis to back this up. It's just kind of how I feel.
I'll say this. I'm glad you have no factual basis for that, because if they were to go backwards with the next one and remove the pure view, I think it would be like the worst thing to happen ever, because this is what Nokia's bread and butter is these days, right? It's like every company needs powerful differentiators, as the buzzwords scholars tell us. And right. Nokia's is optics, and they do cameras really well. And so this is the device. I feel like the 808 was the beta test, and this is meant to be the first, obviously, production, wide release production model for people who care about being on a platform that matters.
Unless this is just going to be the specialty camera phone. I mean, when you look at the design of the phone, and you've got that big black circle, that it makes the phone look like a camera.
Can I tell you? It does. I'm sorry. Can I tell you what my favorite Instagram picture of the month is?
Okay.
Right after the 1020 leaks were confirmed, right after the official announcement and all the renders came out, somebody took his or her 920, put it down on its screen, and put an Oreo on the back of it and took a photo of it. And I swear, if you just glance at that thing, it looks like a 1020.
Right. And on the one hand, I think it's ugly. I think it's the giant pepperoni-sized nipple sticking out the back of this phone is ugly. But at the same time, there's a certain amount of marketing genius to say, hey, look, this is a camera phone.
Absolutely. And that's why it's anodized. I don't know if it's anodized. That's why it's aluminum. That's why it's black. It doesn't match the color of the rest of the phone, so that it does stand out, so that it does look like a camera, so it gets your eyeball attracted to it. Yes. Actually, when I was taking sample shots here in Boston, somebody walked by when I was taking that photo of the 9X parking signs, and he was like, "Hey, is that new Lumia?" I'm like, yes, but I can't let you touch it." I gave him my business card. I was like, I'm so sorry, man. I don't mean to be a jerk, but I really can't let you take, because we were outside. I'm like, if you run away with this, I'm dead. So anyway, but yeah, it's very distinctive. So right. So let's come back to it here. I think that you're both right. Actually, my hope is that this thing sets the platform on fire. But you know what I was thinking recently? Why do we want, personally, now that we have some skin in the game, now that we have some dollars on the table, why do we want more people to be on Windows Phone, guys? So the ecosystem is healthier?
Yeah.
Yeah. I want a third platform.
And we have one. And it's the legit third platform right now. It's already there. I know it's small, but it's
getting there.
Yeah, but
it's
listen, what do we have with Windows Phone? Let's think about this for a second. We have a wide portfolio of devices. Yes, a lot of them are from the same manufacturer, but they're relatively diverse. We might be lacking the physical keyboard category, but so is every other platform in this day and age. Right. So we have a wide platform of devices. We have over 160,000 apps. I can find most apps I need now, with the exception of stock Instagram and a few others.
Google. Excuse me. I'm sorry.
Right. The Google. Right. But Windows Phone growing won't make it get along with Google better necessarily. It might, but not necessarily. So here's the thing. When you're rooting for an underdog platform, you want it to get bigger so that it can get these things. And we already have a lot of these things. So do we want Windows Phone to get bigger so that it will stay around longer, so that it'll continue improving?
Yes.
Okay. Because I don't like it when I'm surrounded by people carrying the same device I have.
Right. No, I think what
they
we
call
want.
it a hipster.
Yeah, I'm right. I think. Excuse me. I got to go change my plaid shirt. Excuse me. I'll be right back.
Go put on some big, thick glasses.
I wear plaid
because I actually do
plaid,
those things.
So.
I wear plaid too. I wear plaid every day. Anyway, so but no, you're right. I don't like. This is why I don't carry the iPhone. This is a principal reason why, besides being bored with iOS, I don't carry the iPhone, because I don't like having the same thing that everybody else does. So it's nice to be on an underdog platform. So my question is, how big do we want it to get, and why? Deep thoughts.
I think I'm going to need some more bourbon.
I had to get something to drink. I was
I think as far as like size is concerned, we want it to be. It's like what you said. We want it to be bigger, so it definitely has its foot, not just its foot in the door, but we actually want it to be in the living room on the couch talking to mom and dad. So we want there to be some mind share. We want some recognition beyond Hawaii 5.0. So it's just it would be nice if someone could look at the phone and say, oh, that's the Lumia, that's Windows Phone, that's the great. And I don't know, it's just I don't know. Maybe I'm just sick of being on the underdog platform. That could very well be.
That could well be. Yeah, it's like Matias Duarte said when he was explaining why he moved at Google. He said some variation on the quote. Sometimes you just want to play for the winning team.
Yeah.
I understand.
That's true. It's very true. So, I mean, I've got the GS3 that I could carry around. I just prefer Windows Phone at this point. So,
yeah.
And because of that, I want it to be good, and I want it to be popular, and I want it to be better, and I'm going to criticize the hell out of it until it is.
There you go. Well, and that's the thing that I think a lot of people don't get in every circle, whether it's sports, whether it's whatever. Like, criticizing something does not mean that you dislike it. In fact, it often means quite the opposite. It's like, listen, this is doing poorly, and I want it to do better, and these are the things it needs to do better.
Bro, I'm a Cubs fan. You're preaching to the choir, man.
There you go.
Come on.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah. I was just
speaking of
taking a minute to.
Hold on. I'm sorry, Taylor. Let me just say this real quick. Speaking of improvement, the Nokia Pro Camera app has received an update. So Taylor, if you have not gotten it yet, you should download it, because mine was crashing the phone earlier. So
mine hasn't crashed yet, but
make sure you get that update. Now, what were you going to say?
The battery on this thing is just destroyed right now, because I got it and it was like 20%, and I've been taking pictures like the entire podcast. I've been taking pictures.
So these phones come with some sample photos on them, and if you look at the EXIF data on the sample photos, they were taken like back in March. I don't know if they were taken with the 1020. I didn't look that closely, but like I think a lot of these have been sitting in inventory for a while.
Look at you with your investigative skills. Go, Michael.
Thank you. It was an accident. Go ahead.
What I was going to say is I was reading back through some of the comments on the YouTube video of the unboxing and some responses on Twitter. And some people were trying to do 100% crop on the picture I shared, which we just talked about a minute ago. That picture is 5 megapixels. So if you do 100% crop on a picture that's 5 megapixels, even with downsampling, it's still going to look like crap. That's not the point. The point is that at 5 megapixels, it looks better than most other 5 megapixel pictures.
Yeah.
So people don't
want me to take a picture with my pre-3 and send it to you, and then we can compare, because they both have that would be a 5 megapixel image right there.
Yeah, I mean, you can't do 100% crop on a 5 megapixel camera or picture and expect it to be amazing. I'm not sharing 34 megabyte or megapixel images, and yeah, that's surprising. They're 34 megapixels, not 38.
Well, it's because they're cropped to 16:9.
Oh, so if you switch to 4:3, it's 38?
It's 38, yeah,
okay.
Exactly. Yeah. And that is different on account of the circle and the rectangle thing, right? We're getting into mathematics now. There's a sensor illustration that I have that's in the review coming up that sort of explains that. The Nokia white paper on the 1020 is really fascinating. So one of the things that I love about the 1020 is that it is this Frankenstein monster. And as we say, it's maybe not the prettiest thing ever, and it's a very interesting like hybrid, but it's a beast, and it's not afraid to be one. And you look inside it, and the technology of the hardware is really, really compelling. These piezoelectric motors and ball bearings, and the God, when the lens cover opens up, it's just the creepiest thing in the world. What is not the HAL Eye from 2001: A Space Odyssey, but there's another science fiction like series or movie that has robots with these kind of circular eyes areas. I'll remember it as the show goes on, but it looks familiar to me somehow. Maybe it's one of the droids in Star Wars, one of the like no-name droids or something. But
I was gonna say Dot Matrix from Spaceballs, maybe.
I don't know.
So Matthew M. Space on Twitter asked, how many gigabytes are 41 megapixel photos? We just talked about that. You can take a max of 34 or 38 megapixels, and those are about 10 or 11 megabytes apiece.
Yeah. So it's not like they're not shareable, but the phone defaults to not allowing you to share them wirelessly because of those big file sizes.
Which is dumb.
Yeah.
I need a way to do that anyway. I've got to figure that out. I will figure it out.
David Pierce at The Verge mentioned that he hated having to hook up the phone to a wire in order to get those images off the phone. Even if you're going to prompt the user for that, you're going to destroy your data allotment, at least you should be able to do it, and I completely agree. David Pierce, of course, every Windows Phone fanboy's favorite person at the moment because he deigned to say something bad about Windows Phone. There's your first mistake.
I was the Windows Phone hater for the longest time, and people still call me that.
Everybody is.
Yeah.
And
I'm
$720 later, you got your creds back, bro.
So we have Jeff, our friend Jeff, whose last name I cannot pronounce too well, Kibuli. I'm gonna guess. Jeff, who speaks to us on Twitter very often and asks, weight difference between the 920 and 1020 noticeable? I definitely think so. Yes.
I haven't held a 920, so I don't know.
So it went like this. When I pulled the 1020 out of the box for the unboxing, it felt heavier than I expected because its low weight had been talked up so much that my expectations were all wonky. I was like, wait, this thing's heavy. But you hold it next to the 920, and yeah, it's definitely lighter. What?
Or you're just weak.
Shut up. Or so it's lighter.
Your Boston hands can't handle the weight.
It's lighter, but it's like heavier at the same time. You know what I mean? No, it because of its awkward design, because of its hardware is awkward and cumbersome. It makes it feel heavier, if that makes sense, Jeff.
The bright yellow color makes it feel lighter.
Which actually, there's a tweet here from, I don't even know the name. I'm just going to go with a tweet named Tweeflow, asking, is the 1020 awkward to hold because of the huge lens, or does it feel comfortable?
Yeah.
I haven't even held the phone, and I'm going to say yes. So,
yeah.
It does feel more weird than I thought it would. Like, it doesn't bother me at all. I don't care about a camera hump. I don't really care about a phone being chunky if it has a use for that extra heft. Right. But yeah, this one doesn't really bother me at all. I laugh when I sit it down on a table because it doesn't sit flat on the table. It sits like you laid it on top of something.
Yeah, so the answer is yes, it's awkward to hold, but you don't care because of the quality of the images that you get. I want to make the point here before we talk about image quality anymore that this is not a perfect device. I do get noise in some low light shots that I shouldn't be getting noise in, and I think some people have been. We posted a news article a little while ago that is saying that the white balance is a little off. So
yeah, I've noticed that the white balance in this office, if you haven't been able to tell from my videos, is really weird.
And that's because auto white balance. I mean, you can adjust it manually, of course.
Yeah, and even adjusting it, I can't quite get the right effect because I've got I have day white lighting kits or lights in my lighting kit, and then I have warm fluorescent lights up top. And if I use just my lighting, it's not enough. So I have conflicting light sources, and the lighting in here is crazy, and this camera's going nuts. So I do definitely have an issue with the white balance.
Yeah. This is in that same vein. Manik asks, do you feel the absence of a dedicated image chip when snapping full resolution images? I mean, honestly, Taylor, if you can field this one, that'd be great, because I wouldn't know what to. I wouldn't know what to expect. Would I be expecting some of that, some image quality improvement? Would I be expecting performance? Speed of snapping. I mean, you definitely feel the save time.
Yeah, you would experience maybe a faster save. Yeah. And less compression, which I don't know about the compression because I really haven't taken any full res shots and looked at them. But you'd be dealing with the compression basically.
Yeah, I mean, the short answer is no, because here's the thing: we have a commenter, Grant Butler, is a commenter who's been commenting on like every 1020 story ever, and bringing some cool data in. Actually, like bringing some cool sample photos and making the strong case that the 1020 does not live up to the hype of the 808. Because its image quality is frankly not as good. And, this is not something that should be dismissed outright because the pictures seem to back that up in certain circumstances. And also, while we are sort of calling the 1020 an 808 bolted to the back of a 920, it's not that at all. The
sensor's smaller, physically smaller.
Everything about the camera is different. Like they completely redesigned it. It's not the 808's camera at all. So there are going to be some major differences, and there are. But the point
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter because nobody in the United States ever owned an 808 because
not only that
carrier, and it was a Symbian phone. So really, not a lot of people cared about it anyway. This destroys every other smartphone on the market.
Yeah, that's the point.
That's the relevant story. So
it destroys the iPhone, which was the gold standard for the longest time.
Right. And so I understand if you have an axe to grind because Nokia's getting too much credit or whatever, but really it doesn't matter. This phone so annihilates, in spite of its flaws, annihilates other smartphones on the market that it's not even a question.
Yeah, it's like going back to the sports metaphor. It's like what they say: when he's playing at 75%, it's still better than everybody else's 100%.
That's what I say. And every time I watch sports ball, that's what I say.
And the 808 and the 808 was more camera than phone because it had Symbian, because it was 4 inches thick.
Right.
It was more
the worst keyboard in history. Yeah.
It was more camera than phone, and people were calling me out on this. But this is a perfect balance between camera and phone. Mm-hmm. You get the iPhone has a great camera, but it's more smartphone than camera. The 808 is more camera. It's like 3 parts camera to 1 part phone, and this is equal parts phone and camera.
Yeah,
that's the big thing. You get the balance of the two in a smaller compromise.
Let's get to another question from PD Talkin' Tech here. This is from Purav. I cannot. Wow, it's like we are actually doing listener mail because I'm just screwing up every name there ever was.
Yeah,
well done.
He tweets me a lot. PD Talkin' Tech.
Yeah. I want to actually make sure that he's got that we give him a shout out here because I think the YouTube channel is PD. Oh, that's exactly what it is. PD Talkin' Tech. P as in Papa, D as in Delta, Talkin' Tech, no G. But he asks, is the Pro Camera app easy for noobs to use? I'm intimidated by DSLRs myself. So I love this question. This is great. Taylor, you're new to it. You're fresh to it. So hit us with your answer.
I've used that app and actually known how to get to the settings for maybe about 10 or 15 minutes, maybe a little longer. I haven't been watching the clock. But the hardest part was figuring out how to get to those settings. Once I figured that out, or once Michael told me, I guess, it was simple.
Yeah.
If you understand shutter speed, ISO, focus, white balance. If you understand the concept of those things, then it's very simple to use. You just have a scroll wheel to toggle them.
Right. So
if you don't understand how they work or what they do, you're going to find yourself playing around with it a little more. But this is more like a Micro Four Thirds than a DSLR because you've got kind of assisted feel to it. You're not fully 100% in control. I mean, you are. You can toggle.
It's kind of like you're playing a shooter on rails, so almost like you can only go. Yeah, it doesn't let you get too far afield. I will say this: I don't know what the hell a Micro Four Thirds is. I don't know cameras. I just know that I like.
You
taking
have
a
a Micro Four
photos.
Thirds.
Sweet. Oh, that's awesome. All right, so I use a Micro Four Thirds. So this is my point, right? And this is why I love this question because the 1020 is targeted at. It's not. Actually, I don't even know what the 1020 is targeted at. We haven't seen the ads. We can't comment on the push of this thing. But the question is, who's going to buy it? Are aspiring pro smartphone professionals going to buy it? Are regular consumers going to buy it? We don't know what the behavior is going to be on this. But I'm a guy who just likes taking pictures. I didn't really understand the concepts behind ISO until somewhat recently and white balance and all that kind of stuff. And the 1020's interface is, I think, one of the easiest ways you can translate that to normal people like me.
My photographer friend, the one who took the pictures for my Pocketnow Insider, she's upset. She hates this thing.
Right, yeah, we mentioned that before. I already condemned her point of view.
But she's upset because it puts so much more power in the hands of someone with nothing more than a cell phone.
Right, but why is that a bad thing? Why is the democratization of a craft a bad thing? Aside from the fact that you are a veteran of the craft and you have sour grapes. Why is that a bad thing otherwise?
Because it basically turns her into a professional Photoshop user.
It's right. It makes her a commodity. And you know
with
what?
A really
that happens.
Camera.
I understand. It happened to me. It happens to other... it happens to everybody.
It happens to everybody. Guess what? Adapt or die.
That's exactly it. That's exactly right. I mean, it's funny because I love the debate because I'm angry about it too. I completely get where she's coming from. But, there's nothing you can do except, like, cling to some idea of the past and be, like, one of those people who's like, I'm going to buy a flip phone and a $4,000 camera and carry them both. There's no reason to resist the future like that.
You know what?
And
if it floats your boat, go to a CD store and buy some CDs. Hey, have fun.
Yeah. Now I understand. I understand that I'm putting words in her mouth for the sake of entertainment, Taylor. And I'm sure she's awesome, and I don't mean to be a jerk about it. I get both sides of the argument. I just I like the future, and I like.
Frankly, I find it hilarious, though. I mean, not because it's affecting her business. It's not yet.
Good.
It will eventually. Yes, it will eventually.
Yeah.
But it's funny because eventually she'll probably carry something with a camera that's nice, and then she'll be happy because then if she gets caught without her SLR, if her battery dies or something, she'll be like, oh, I can revert to my phone for, the last 20 minutes.
Right. And
I'll be fine.
And it'll get me through in a pinch. And it'll be...
Yeah.
Let's move on to another question here. This is... Yeah. This is from, in that same vein, Chris Kisek. I tried every variation. One of them's got to be right. Do you think cameras are next year's big thing now that Nokia raised the bar? I think cameras have been a big thing for a very long time.
2 years, 3 years.
Yeah, I think where he's going with that, though, is hardware and megapixels as opposed to software and Samsung garbage.
Well, it's been a big thing since Steve Jobs walked out on stage and said the iPhone is the most popular camera. Ugh, God. Steve Jobs said the iPhone is the most popular camera in the world. Yeah. Because it was. It was. The iPhone 4 was, for a short time, the most popular camera in the world. And it was the most used camera on Flickr. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, when he said that, other manufacturers are like, oh, maybe we should get in on this.
We should probably get on that train.
Now you're going to have...
My 8 megapixels aren't good enough.
Now, of course, there were great shooters. Like, there were strata of phone cameras before that. We had the Nokia N95, which a lot of people loved in the sort of semi-smartphone space, back then. And there was a camera I really liked shooting with back in the day, back in the pre-iPhone days, and I forgot what it was. Oh, you know what used to have a really great camera for the Spectrum was the BlackBerry Pearl.
The N8.
Oh, right.
The N8 was great.
Yeah. So there were good cameras before then, but yeah, I don't know. I think the focus is you can't have a camera discussion without making that stupid pun by accident, can you? I think the focus of the future of smartphone photography will shift, and this kind of transitions into a similar question from Pure Isle Doc. I want to know. I know it's really early, but what's the future, in your opinion, regarding smartphone cameras and major OEMs? So, guys, yeah, I think we're all in agreement that manufacturers have to continue stepping up their game to deal with this. We saw this with, I hate to make another WebOS allusion, but Adam, you remember we saw this with the cards metaphor with WebOS.
Yep.
WebOS didn't succeed ultimately, but it did grab a lot of people's attention, and it put a lot of people's focus on the phones in their hands that suddenly felt quite outdated in their UIs. So
And
we saw everyone steal the cards UI. Right, exactly. So, yeah, I think people are going to do that. They can't replicate PureView, but they'll do their best to try. Look, HTC already did that with the One, right? With the ultra pixel thing. It's like, guys, here, look, we're going to change the conversation.
And they tried.
They succeeded though. I mean, the one is HTC is a big success story for HTC. They couldn't make enough of them for a while.
Yeah.
And I actually like the camera on that phone as long as I don't have a 1020 in my other hand.
So I just took a couple seconds to test out the speakers on this Nexus 7 because someone was asking. They said, where was it? How do the dual speakers perform? And they're loud. They're definitely loud, but they're extremely tinny. They're very tinny, very little bass.
Yeah, that sounds
gross.
It's the Nexus 7 we're talking, not 1020, but Nexus 7.
Yeah, Nexus 7. But they project outwards, so they don't get blocked by your hand as much, but I didn't really try. I'm sure you could completely cover them up because of their placement. If you hold it in landscape, I'm sure you can completely cover those speakers.
Yeah. Look at all these Nexus 7 questions horning in on our Lumia 1020 hour.
They're everywhere. I know you wanted to talk mainly about the 1020, but
yeah. I don't know.
I got a Nexus 7 here.
I don't want to talk about that whack tablet. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, do you mind if I play the audio? You might not be able to tell much about it, but
no, I don't mind if you play some tinny audio through that mono speaker.
Go for it.
I just don't want to deal with any kind of copyright stuff on YouTube.
Just so long as it's not country.
Oh, actually, that's a good point. Yeah,
like a 3-second clip.
Just a couple seconds.
Let's turn the volume up though. Volume button isn't working.
The volume button isn't working? Sounds like you're going to go back to the store today.
The volume button doesn't work in landscape. Oh, now it does. That's as loud as it'll go.
Wow, actually, that's pretty loud, man. How far away from the mic are you?
About 5 or 6 inches.
Wow, well, yeah, this sucks. Let's stop that.
Yes, please.
Really loud.
There's your Nexus 7 speaker question.
No bass. None. Yeah. It's like whamp, whamp. That was dubstep, and it's like din, din, din.
It sure was dubstep, yeah. What's it called? The speaker on the 1020, because no one asked about it, but I want to talk about it, is plenty loud, except when you're on a speakerphone call, and I'm so tired of manufacturers cranking down the volume for speakerphone calls with speakerphones.
That kills me.
Isn't that crazy? Because you can crank media. You can blast a song way loud on this thing. The minute you have a phone call, I'm at 10 out of 10. I don't get any louder. It's like, yes, you do. You definitely get louder.
I've seen you get louder.
Yeah,
or heard
you just did it.
Out of curiosity, Michael, how's the volume compared to the 920?
It's right on par. The 920 and the 1020 seem indistinguishable to me from an audio perspective, but with the exception of the fact that there's only one port on the 1020 because they had to make room for that wrist lanyard. I hate lanyards.
Why? Nobody uses that.
They're so lame.
There's a reason.
I mean, look, I get it, right? You don't want to drop your $700 awesome camera phone over the rail when you're taking photos of Niagara Falls. I understand, and people I like use lanyards, and
does a lanyard even come in the box?
It does. It does come with a lanyard, actually. Yeah. Thanks for watching my unboxing, by the way. You're great.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I've been so busy. Don't even go. I don't
even want to hear how busy you've been. I did 3 comparisons and a review this week. Oh, it was awesome.
I'm sorry. Did you say something?
Yeah. I've been talking about how awesome I am. Hey, let's talk about other stuff. I cannot pronounce your name, sir. AS asks, what was happening with all the shaking in the Lumia 1020 video sample?
Michael has shaky hands.
I've got early onset Parkinson's or something.
he needed a cigarette and coffee.
Yeah. Only one of which I routinely have anymore, and it ain't smoking. But yeah, I have too much coffee. That's the problem. But no, I was
There
actually
wasn't a near enough Dunkin' Donuts.
I want to ask you, Taylor, to please test that out. When you shoot video, let me know. Because I was just walking for all those video samples I shot with the 1020. All I'm doing is walking. And
So
maybe I'm
shoot,
climbing the stairs. So just walk and shoot and see if... Because it just seems like there's no video stabilization when I'm shooting.
On a trampoline?
Yeah, on a pogo stick. Can you get on that?
Can I ask about this lanyard? It's like it's out of like...
Talking about the wrist strap? I don't want to talk about that anymore.
Oh, the wrist strap. Yeah, it's not a lanyard.
Why have we given a lanyard more than 15 seconds of this podcast?
I'm so done talking about this
No,
lanyard.
it's like straight out of the 90s. Like,
Right,
it's
'cause
pleather and
it sucks.
hilarious. What is the point of this thing?
I don't know.
Is it
I would have
tie-dyed?
been much happier if it came with a holster. If we were going to go 90s with the 1020, I would have been much happier with a belt clip.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. Like, give me at least like a silicone one. This is funny.
So tech in the real world is like, what do you think of the thinner bezel on the side but huge bezels on the top and bottom? I can only imagine he's talking about the Nexus, right?
Yes.
Okay. Taylor, what do you think about that?
I didn't hear any of that because I heard, what do you think of the...
Oh, did I?
Yes. I heard Adam say yes. That's all I heard.
Oh.
Audio cut
the
out.
thinner bezels on the side but huge bezels on the top and bottom of the Nexus 7.
It makes it easier to hold one-handed in portrait, but in landscape it feels really funny because it's super wide. It's almost like holding a 10-inch tablet in portrait because it is so wide. I guess tall in portrait. But yeah, it's not so bad. I'm kind of curious more about the placement of the front-facing camera because it's to the left side if you hold it in landscape. So it's not middle because it is a portrait device. So yeah, it's a little awkward. It's weird. I don't think they want you to use this in any particular orientation. But I will add this: if you use this in landscape, unlike most 10-inch tablets or every 10-inch tablet, the dock on your home screen is not on the bottom, it's on the right side.
Guys?
So you have a vertical dock
Yeah.
in landscape. And why? So they killed the tablet notifications on the bottom right corner. They made these virtually portrait-only devices, the small 7-inch tablets. They did so many bad things to tablets in 4.2. They really did.
They really did. I agree. We've actually talked about that quite a bit, and I really am sad that in the name of consistency, we have kind of a crappier experience on tablets.
But
yeah.
that said, I will own a Nexus 7. Now, this Nexus 7 isn't technically mine. I bought it with my own money, but it's not technically mine. So...
Whose technically is
Yeah,
it?
what? It's like, did you have a shady conversation with some dude around the back of the store or something?
It's Pocketnow's.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah.
All right, so anyway, we got a lot of other tweets, but they are increasingly irrelevant as people exhaust the proper topics.
I did get a Chromecast question, which I got asked by Brandon when we started this podcast if I could do a Chromecast video today.
The Chromecast, if you please refresh our listeners as to what it is.
Yeah, it's basically the Nexus Q version 2. And they sized it down. They downsized from a giant overpriced orb to a ridiculously cheap thumb drive with an HDMI out port. Mm-hmm. And it has to be powered. You have to plug it into USB power. But what it does is you stream videos and music and content from your Android phone, your iOS devices, your Windows computer, your Mac, or a Chromebook to this thing.
And you have one.
Yeah, I have one.
As you were watching some 1020 videos on your big screen last night, as you saw on our Instagram account.
Yeah, and it's going to change. Like, okay, so I had the Nexus Q, and I used it for a long time, and I liked it, but it was terrible. Mm-hmm. It was easy to set up. You basically plug it into your TV and you do a couple things. You log in, you connect to a phone, and you log into your Wi-Fi through your phone for your Nexus Q, and you're set up. So it's easy to set up. But then when you want to watch a video or something on it, you dealt with that YouTube buffering issue where you'd watch 3 seconds and buffer. And I had a 50 megabit connection, and it would buffer every 10 seconds or so on a 720p video, and I'm just like, this is awful. So
nobody got time for that.
you had that issue, and sometimes you couldn't connect to your Nexus Q. Sometimes you had all these problems. And I've been playing with the Chromecast a little bit, and it's a million times better. It's smaller. It's easier to use. It's easier to set up. It's awesome. I love it.
Cool.
But the question,
Nice.
do you think Google will implement support for Chrome and Android? It's already there. I don't know what the question means because that's what it is.
Right.
So I don't know what that means.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about when I was like, some of the. By the way, I want to thank everyone for their questions on Twitter. We just put out a call for them, and listeners, listener mail senders. We didn't mean to snub you there, but Twitter was just a faster, easier way to do it this time around.
Yeah.
So we actually do have to wrap it up as well because of all the business we were talking about before. But thank you everyone for sending in your Twitter questions.
Hashtag Michael's dumb. I would have fielded that question. I would field that question all day.
Would you?
Yeah.
You're a big jerk. That's why.
RT Michael's arms are tiny and small, and the Lumia 1020 feels heavy to him.
My arms.
That's
my arms are.
That's
beastly.
a long hashtag.
That is a very long hashtag.
It wouldn't work. And you've got a
That was a
sweet
retweet.
apostrophe in there. Anyway, thank you everyone for those questions. And so Taylor, what's going to happen now? We have two members of the Pocketnow team with 1020s. Adam, after our discussion, after being on the air with us, what are your feelings? Are you still coveting the 1020? Are you going to buy one for yourself at some point?
Coveting, yes. Will I own one? I think I put on a Taylor had a collaborative piece earlier this week, and I'm going to reiterate my answer from that.
I don't read that guy's editorials. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't either.
You were part of the editorial.
I only read it because I was in it.
Then I'll read it. Okay.
I'm going to reiterate my answer there, saying, will I own one? Yes, but not now.
Okay.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
Why don't you sell your 920 and buy a 1020?
I don't sell phones.
Oh,
I mean,
Why
I
not?
could, I suppose, but honestly, this phone's actually already had some hard days to it. So there's a couple of scratches and a couple of dings, and so I probably lost some major resale value there.
Adam, here's what you do. Here's what you do, and I didn't do this on
You
purpose.
throw this in a case.
No. What's funny? No. First of all, what people used to do to commit insurance fraud on forums was to put their phone in the microwave, and that would if you put it in the microwave for a certain amount of time, it would not melt it, but it would destroy the internals. So whatever. But I think people don't do that anymore. So the new thing to do, if you're me, and I didn't do this on purpose, but I tried to do a hard reset on the 920 so I could send it to Adam so he could do a comparison when he had the 1020 hands-on. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, my 920 had one of those early release bugs in Windows Phone where doing a hard reset resulted in spinning gears until the battery was exhausted, and the hard reset never completed.
Oh.
So as a result, I took it to an AT&T warranty center, and I have a feeling they wouldn't have been able to help me out because I didn't have insurance or anything. I was expecting them to say, whatever, mail this to Nokia. This isn't our responsibility. But 2 hours before I had come in, they had another guy with the exact same problem come in.
Oh, yeah?
And they had worked on it for so long and had just run their heads into the wall so many times that they were like, whatever, no, we just dealt with that. Just give them a new one. I don't care. So what they did was they gave me a brand new Lumia 920, or it's a refurb, but it's in a brand new casing, and its resale value is going to be wonderfully high.
Oh,
compared to my old beat up one. So, do a hard reset, bro.
So do a hard reset when my battery reaches 5%, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, actually, it doesn't even matter what level your battery is. It's a legit bug. It'll just ruin your phone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So anyway, there's that. Not that I'm advocating that. Please don't screw over your carrier or your manufacturer. People don't. Do that.
On this episode of Pocketnow Weekly, we talk about how to commit cell phone warranty fraud.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a gripe against cell phone insurance that we could do a podcast
we could do a
on
whole
that.
thing on that, right? Yeah.
Adam, you seem to forget you could have done, or you still could do AT&T Next.
I could.
Yes, you could.
Yes. And pay 4 times for your phone.
I could go give them what is it, $150, $700, and then I could pay $30 a month, and then I could pay another $300 and get the phone in a year, right?
Well, there's no down payment, so it's only $30 a month. But after you're done, you end up paying $750, $780 for the phone.
Yeah,
No,
actually,
that's how much I'm going to pay in Cook County anyway. So.
It's actually quite relevant too, because the Lumia 1020, if our international listeners have forgotten, though it is available in the U.S. starting today, it is exclusive to AT&T. So this is something a lot of people, I think, are going to be thinking about. And I actually thought, in my bleary-eyed semi-consciousness this morning, I'm like, wow, should I get on that Next thing?
I did the same thing. I'm sitting here thinking, I did the exact same thing this morning. I'm like, God, it would be free today. I just walk in and say I want it, and I'd walk out with the phone.
Right.
And pay $30 more per month. And I'm like, that's not a bad idea, because I'm going to drop my data plan down to 2 gigabytes anyway.
Right.
Like, man, that's not a bad idea. And then I'm like,
and you're like, wait a minute.
And I'm like,
it's
if
a
I
trap.
did that, I'm sitting here thinking, if I did that, I would hate myself. I would absolutely hate myself.
Yeah.
It's a trap.
It's a trap. All right.
It's a tarp. It's a tarp.
It's a tarp.
That's funny. All right, we got to get out of here, right?
Dargon's ahead.
We want to thank listeners. Really appreciate your patience on the listener mail. We're so sorry, but we're busy bringing you other kinds of content, so we really hope you're enjoying the videos.
We don't got time for that stuff.
Ain't nobody got time for that, but we will get to your interesting listener mails soon. We have huge stuff coming up next week and the week after. I'm going to be doing some traveling to Manhattan for 2 events. Going to be checking out even more phones. I'm going to take a boatload of pictures on the 1020. So, guys, Taylor Martin and I are going to flood the feed. Follow us on Instagram, pocketnow.com/Instagram, so that you can see these wonderful 38-megapixel images reduced to horrible 612 by 612 ones. And that'll be a lot of fun. But we are going to be posting articles on the 1020s as well. Hopefully, at some point
I've got a video coming up.
One of them. Taylor's got a video coming up on the 1020. That's good.
Yeah,
Can you give us?
Because it's very much requested, mostly internally at Pocketnow.
What is it?
My thoughts on Windows Phone, because it's been scheduled for over 2 months now, and
and you were going to do it on the TVS. Now I feel like this video is going to be quite different now that you have a 1020 and not a TVS.
Yeah, that's what I was going to try. That's what I was trying to tell Tony. Like, I want a not a 9 bias, but like a more actual, a true to life
experience
explanation of how I feel about this phone, or how I feel about the operating system. Because if I did it on the TVS, I'm not going to like it, because I don't care about the phone. I don't care about the hardware. It's uninspired. I don't like it. I know you do, but I don't like the TVS.
Sure.
And this is the first Windows Phone since the 900, the Lumia 900, that I really wanted.
How does Adam Dowd feel about the TVS?
What's the TVS?
Ouch.
I have one question.
Before you have a question, hold on. I had this like glimmer of hope for a second. I was like, maybe Adam's really in love with the TVS, and maybe we can send that to him, and maybe that way Adam Dowd can generate some love. But no.
Yeah, I'll send it to you by all means. I don't need it.
And don't forget, we are still going to be looking at the HTC 8XT as well. So this is a big month for Windows phones. Jeez,
God, this is a huge month for tech,
everything,
like mobile tech. Like,
God,
this is the part of the year that is usually a huge lull.
This is why this is why I agreed to do a theater show this season, because I was like, oh, summer's slow. Nothing ever happens in the summertime.
This is usually like the dead part of the year where nothing is happening. So it makes me wonder what's going to happen in the fall and winter. Like, it's going to be crazy. Yeah. I have one closing question.
Hit it, and then we got to go.
Now that the 1020 is out, and available to at least the U.S., does anybody even care about the Honami anymore? The Sony Honami.
The what?
Is that the...
Or is it Onami? Onami? I don't know if you pronounce the H, but Honami. The Sony phone that was supposed to have a great camera and whatnots, like 20-something megapixels.
Did I miss a memo?
No, it was big for like a second, and then it got run over in the newsfeed by a bunch of other stuff. It's been pictured alongside the Xperia Z and the
it's on our homepage right now in the main feed, and it's supposed to have a 20 megapixel camera. And does anybody even care about it anymore?
That's a good question. Sounds like a great editorial headline to me.
Ayo.
Ayo, there's one of my editorial ideas for today.
Yay!
All right, well, now that we've got that wrapped up, listeners, once again, thank you for putting up with us on our kind of free-range, non-rundown carrying podcast. Adam Dowd, you are wonderful to join us. Thank you for being so patient and finally getting on the schedule, and thanks for being on the air with us. Really appreciate it.
You are wonderful for having me, and just so everybody knows, I never retweet on request.
Hashtag. Anyway, that is going to do it for this awesome episode of the Weekly. Hey, find us on Twitter. Taylor is at CasperTech, CASPERTEK. Adam is at Dead Technology, spelled like it sounds. And as always, you can find me at Captain Two Phones. You can also follow Pocketnow officially, not only at Pocketnow on Twitter and as Pocketnow on Facebook and Google+, but as Pocketnow on Instagram. And please leave us a review on iTunes or Xbox Music if you have the opportunity to do so, as we would love to get your positive thoughts. If you have a topic, question, or suggestion for the podcast, or you just want to say hello, you can email us at podcast@pocketnow.com, and we'll get to that mail sometime before the end of the year. Thank you for listening, everyone, and we'll see you next time.
Hashtag follow me, bro.
Hashtag no.
You jerks.
Brandon is currently asking for my thoughts on the Nexus 7.
Well, tell him that you're doing a podcast. You'll get back to him.
Tell him to go bugger off.
That's
go
right.
Feed a baby.
What's he think he is, the boss?